Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the third installment in my series that I'm calling The Hidden Mechanics of Mastery, where I'm essentially exploring how quantity contributes to success in trading. How we are taught to focus on quality, yet what we should be focusing on is in quantity. In this installment, which I've titled In Real Life, Quantity Leads to Quality, and here's the proof. I'm essentially sounding smug because I have realized that quantity is actually what tends to matter more in real life and in different aspects, and I'll be covering all these examples and more in this video. So if you're down for that, let's jump in. But remember, some of these might not be directly linked to trading. I'm just linking these to other aspects of life. So if you are in these fields, don't forget to comment down below whether you've actually noticed this or not. And everyone wants quality, but the people who get it tend to practice more. We tend to praise quality, the polished product, the perfect trade, the clean outcome. But when you zoom out, the answer becomes clear. What actually leads to mastery? The answer is consistent in every industry. It's quantity, it's repetition, it's volume, and it's in doing the thing over and over again, even when it's rough. Here is how quantity shows up outside trading and why it matters inside trading too. Those who get this level of experience, expertise, practice more. Example time. Quantity shows up outside trading, but matters a lot inside too. And you can see it in all of these industries. I'll of course be covering a few examples, and I can't really get to the in-depth into explaining how it matters in these different industries, but I can at least mention them. And those who actually work in these industries can comment down below and basically tell us whether these are facts or it's just hopium from myself. All right. The first example I'd like to cover tends to come from a story that is explored often online and tends to be given as an example. It's a story where an arts professor splits a ceramics class in half, and one half is told that they'll be graded purely on quantity and they must create as many pots as possible, and the other half is told that they'll be graded on quality and they must submit one perfect pot. At the end of the term, as the story goes, the group which made the best pots was the quantity group. The group that didn't exactly focus on creating one good pot, but created a lot. These individuals in this pottery class, quantity worked for them because while the quality group spent time theorizing and planning, the quantity group got their hands dirty. They failed, iterated, adapted, and improved on each of the individual pots. Another industry where this works is in writing bestsellers. Bestsellers come from the prolific. Look at Stephen King, Isaac Asimov, Maya Angelou. They didn't write masterpieces by waiting for inspiration. They wrote constantly. In doing so, they found their voice. Each bad page was a step closer to a brilliant one. Each bad trade is a step closer to one successful black swan trade that breaks all your records. This is also true in YouTube influencers and content creators. Something I like to do and like to explore, and I'd encourage you to do it. Go to successful YouTubers who have grown big, those with upwards of 10 million subscribers, and sort their videos by oldest, the first videos they posted. Of course, there are a few who tend to delete these, but find those ones who haven't deleted or gotten rid of their history. Go back in their history and look at their first videos. They were bad, they were poor trades. But over time, being consistent, executing a lot, creating more videos, led them to find what actually worked for them, led them to find the very aspect that makes them tick, the very aspect that brings success in their videos. And this is essentially what I'll also hint at in trading. Those who succeed are those who executed more, not those ones who chase this one trade that will break all their records, but rather those who execute on all opportunities that they get until they are able to determine which opportunities are better to take and which ones are better to not to take. Actually, funnily enough, the successful traders grade their trades. They don't throw away opportunities, but rather they reduce and play with their risk depending on what the opportunity is communicating to them. The more you know. Even in research breakthroughs, in science, breakthroughs come from volume. The psychologist Dean Simonton analyzed history's most creative minds, Mozart, Edison, Darwin, and found that the more the work someone produced, the higher their chances of greatness. Even Edison's light bulb moment came after thousands of failed experiments. The same applies in music. The legends don't always know what will stick. They create a lot of content, and one of their songs actually stuck. Prince recorded over 500 unreleased songs. The Beatles released 13 albums in 7 years. Most hits came in between dozens of meh tracks. They didn't always know what would work. They just kept creating. Casinos play the numbers game. They don't necessarily focus on each individual action that all of the people gambling in their clubs are taking. They essentially focus on the numbers long term. Their success comes from volume and, of course, having an edge, but volume plays a critical role in edges, and specifically in trading. We often think that the pros got where they are because of a perfect strategy. This is why we tend to chase gurus and other people who post online. We who have experienced the challenges of trading often fall for the trader on the beach, the one driving an expensive car, the one telling you it takes them 3 minutes a day to make $2,000. I'm not saying they're lying. However, when you talk to the real traders, those who have been in it for years, those who don't sell you on a course since they understand their edge doesn't lie in how they look at the market, their strategy or approach. Their edge is them. Essentially, the pros didn't get there because of a perfect strategy. If you talk to them long enough, you'll notice they just traded more. They stayed in the charts for longer. They logged more setups and more behavior and more reactions. They earned their edge through reps. It wasn't luck, it was exposure. There's a myth that runs around that we all lie to ourselves about. We say, we'll figure it out fast. However, this just keeps us stuck in the myth. You can't succeed by staying in your brain or living in your mind. If you're stuck trying to plan the perfect entry system before placing a single trade, or researching endlessly to build the perfect backtest before touching the charts, remember this: the process is what reveals the insight. The volume is what sharpens your edge. And you can't skip the mess. You need it. You need to grow through every single messy day, dirty charts, as you call them, ranging days. You need to go through and figure out everything through the mess. As a result, since you need it, you better embrace it. Quality is the byproduct of quantity. It's how you get better. So, do you want to get better? If you do, you need to expose yourself to more trades. Let experience mold your judgment. In various aspects of life, as I've just shown, the reps constantly win. You don't get good by waiting for the perfect situations. You get good by doing. You ever feel like history was written by people wanting to make themselves feel smart? Stuff along the lines of, he waited patiently for the right opportunity and struck when the iron was hot without any prior experiences. On the other hand, check out movies these days. Yes, the movies that are currently coming out from Hollywood. Find a movie character where a character you'll find movie characters that were born perfect. They had they say they had something about them, either blessed by the gods or something, and they succeed in everything that they do at the first try. We tend to romanticize such situations, yet they aren't really what make things stick. And deep inside, we know this. And that's why, despite thinking that such stories are cool, the movies themselves rarely trend. Actually, quite often they grind to a slow stop or bomb right off the bat. What tends to be considered timeless masterpieces are the aspects closely related to real life, the characters who struggled and worked through their issues to finally become successful. Yet, when it comes to trading, we expect ourselves to succeed from the get go, like the historical characters or main characters of modern movies. It just doesn't work in real life. For that, you need your luck stats maxed out, which the losing trades in your history should already be telling you definitely isn't maxed out. As such, we need something better, something that has been proven to work time and time again, something that fosters action over perfection and tends to improve you, and ultimately seeps through everything else that you touch. Quantity. In conclusion, the same stuff applies in almost all industries. Venture capital firm bet on a lot of startups. Yes, they might be educated guesses, but often a very minor percentage of their bets actually work out. This is true in a lot of areas, and the mistake we all make is believing the story we are told by gurus out here. These days, these gurus are not only in trading. You'll find them everywhere. If only you buy one rental property, you will become a millionaire. Invest in my AI startup and you'll be a millionaire. Achieve financial freedom by buying this meme token. Have there been people achieving this or success in these industries? Definitely. And they will attribute their success to a strategy or approach. Actually, some try to sell you on those ideas or approaches. Yet, at its core, it's their persistence, volume in execution. The same applies to housing and other industries. With 10, 100 of these implementations, it's easy for one winner to account for the losses of all the rest. If you just buy one house, it's harder to achieve success. If you just buy one meme token, it's harder to achieve success. Otherwise, for those who actually want to get good, focus on volume, the numbers game, build the reps, and remember, the small consistent steps are what matter.